Welcome, Wim. Wim Goessens, we welcome you. You are a lecturer at Applied Business Economics in Howest University of Applied Sciences. You're working here since the beginning of this year, and you're specifically teaching and giving coachings in Applied Business Economics. I've got a first question for you, and that is internationalization a necessity for the Belgian economy and specifically for the Flemish economy?
Thank you, Lieven. Definitely. Belgium is an open economy. Its location in the center of Europe plays an important role here. If I'm right, I think that Belgium is the third most globalized country in the world. And you could consider Belgium as a gateway to the rest of Europe. Around Belgium, around 800 kilometers around Brussels, we have about 500 million consumers. This is an incredibly large number and a high potential for Belgian companies. Flanders, of course, plays an important role in here as well. You have the port of Antwerp, you have the port of Zeebrugge and Ghent, and those ports are really hubs for the transport and logistics of goods towards the rest of Europe.
You yourself chose for an international career, Wim. What were your jobs before you started working at Howest University of Applied Sciences, and in which companies did you work? Which functions did you have?
When I was 18 years old, I dreamed about seeing the world. And after my higher educations, I started immediately to work for an international company. So since 1994, that's a long time ago even, I've always been working in an international environment, taking different positions in different companies, but always having a direct international contact with many different people living in many different countries. So I've always been active internationally since.
And what was your last job? Where did you work and which function did you have precisely?
My last job was a director and a business area manager position with a Swedish company called SSAB. SSAB is an international steel producer, an international company with production facilities in Sweden, Finland, and the United States. SSAB, they are active in more than 160 countries all over the world, and that's a lot. My last responsibility that I have there as business area manager was I was responsible for a business area going from Western Europe, Turkey, the Middle East, and Africa. And there I was managing a team, different teams of people who were on their turn managing other local regional teams. So to give you a better picture about my core team was about 7 managers reporting directly to me. And we speak about 7 different nationalities and 6 different mother tongues. So not easy to do, but a great experience I had with that team.
To have such an international career, Wim, how did you prepare? What did you study? Which experience did you have before you started work life?
I have a master's degree in business economics, more specifically in commercial and financial sciences. And on top of that, I had an option in human resources. So that was a good basis to start an international career. But how to prepare? It's hard to say. I didn't really prepare those days for an international career. I was a student, but what I remember well, that is, I was traveling a lot, and I had a high interest in different cultures and languages. Learning languages at school, I considered already as very, very important, and it is, of course. And when you are a student, and I was those days, was also, I mean, not to be afraid to go abroad and to test your language skills, and really to take part of a broader world than your own family environment or student environment. That's what I recall. And coming back to the languages, which are extremely important, is that, you know, I learned something important at SSAB in Sweden. We had many different cultures in that organization. And you know what the company language was, Lieven?
Maybe Swedish? No, it was English.
And not American English and not British English. It was bad English. And
Okay.
that's a very good one.
Okay, thank you. Related to what you just was telling, is languages are very important, but what are other competences are also important for someone that does into international business? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, on top of the languages, I would say open-minded, being open-minded for different cultures. Um, be open for differences in cultures, for differences in how people talk, how people behave. So being open-minded is really, really a crucial factor. Also being interested in people itself. You have to, and you can practice that, but you have to put a lot of, you have to invest a lot in your interpersonal skills, I would say. And not only limited to your own environment, but also in a more multicultural environment. Try to test and try it out, and it won't come easily from the beginning, but having an open mind and being highly interested in people and working on your interpersonal skills will bring you already very far in international business, definitely.
So for students that want to work in an international environment, it's very important to have those international experiences and to become more open-minded for all the different nationalities in the world and the different cultures. Okay.
Definitely, definitely. The world is becoming smaller and smaller. So we are neighbors from each other. It's not all, when you communicate today with someone in South America, it's like the distance is very short. You do it through the internet. I mean, it's like a neighbor. Eh? You build up a relationship, and so people are living closer to each other. And I think that you have to use this, and especially be open to listen to others' opinions, and take always into consideration that there are cultural differences, so that you have to put a lot of things in the right perspective before making any judgment or conclusions beforehand.
Okay, thank you. The interview is already coming to an end, Wim, but before I stop the interview, I have one last question. And that question is, do you have one last good advice for our students when doing international business?
Definitely. I have a very good advice. Never forget the following. It's a golden rule in international business. Don't talk about, or try to avoid to talk about, number one, religion, number two, politics, and number three, tricky subjects. Three important golden rules. Never forget, and you'll be successful. I'm sure about it.
Okay, that's a good lesson to learn. Thank you very much, Wim, for this interview. And well, students can always ask you more questions during the year when they meet you about doing international business, I suppose.
Yes, for sure. I'm open. I look forward to meeting them.
Okay, thank you.